Welcome back to Sonic Interruptions. In the last episode, Taco was telling a story about his life, and I interrupted him.
Welcome back to Blaze the Cat doing the robot.
Yes.
Totally looked like she was doing the robot for a second there, just like, whoop.
Anyway, you can go ahead and finish your story now. I'm sorry.
And then PS2, except I went through like 3 PS2s during that time because I've had bad luck with Sony products. And then somewhere around there I got a Game Boy Color, and dude, I played shit out of that. Like, I regret my Game Boy Color breaking. I dropped it down the stairs and broke the ink packet in the screen.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it really, really sucked. Which is funny, because I had dropped it down the stairs like 40 times before that. So, it was on its last limb. And yet, everything on it worked. It just one day, the ink packet was like, I'm sick of your shit! And then, what did I get next? Oh, I got an Xbox for like Christmas, and it was super used, but it was just awesome. And I still own that Xbox. Like, I'm looking at it right now. It's right behind me.
Nice.
And then everything else is just like, you know, current shit. Like, I got my Xbox 360 when I got out of high school. Blah blah blah. Oh, and then I got a 64 last year. Boy, am I awesome.
Yep.
My first Nintendo 64, which was last year, because I never grew up with one. So all this mad praise that people give to the Legend of Zelda Ocarina, all that mad praise. Yes, all that Legend of Sonic.
That Legend of Sonic or Goldina of King.
Yes. All of the mad praise that game gets, I don't understand at all. That's Ocarina of Time is probably one of my least favorite of the Zeldas.
Ouch.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, my least favorite of the Zeldas is the one Zelda that I played and never beat was Twilight.
Oh boy.
It's my least favorite.
See, a lot of people actually have good things to say about Twilight Princess.
I didn't like the werehog in Twilight Princess.
Yeah, the werehog was a real bummer.
Yeah, it was. I did those parts of the game, and it's just like, ugh, come on. If I wanted to play Heavy Rain, I'll make it.
I'll make it.
Because now that I think about it, Heavy Rain did not exist when I played that game, but I'll make it.
Okay, so I missed that star ring, and I'll have to come back for it.
My favorite Zelda, out of all, is A Link to the Past.
Nice. My favorite is... it's so hard to say. Like, I'm not sure between Skyward Sword, Majora's Mask, and what was that other one that I always fucking am thinking of, but I can't remember now.
Waker?
Wind Waker, yeah, thank you. It's one of those three, and I can never decide which.
See, I can't decide what my second favorite Zelda would be, because it's a tie between Phantom Hourglass, the newest one that just came out, Between Worlds, and Wind Waker. It's a tie between those three. Because Phantom Hourglass, that is a solid Zelda game. I have to say, that is a solid Zelda game. It's very innovative. It's still keeping it like old style, but also fresh. That is a good solid. That is a Metal Gear Solid.
That is a Metal Gear Snake. Snake.
Snarky.
Snarky.
And then what else did I say? Oh, dude, A Link Between Worlds was so cool. In fact, you were there when I beat it, and I like screamed my freaking face off because that was awesome.
And I was just like, "Yup, that's
dude, that's
so good."
No Zelda game has had that awesome of a reveal. I have to say, that's really, really cool.
And then that entire time I was like, I knew this already, but it's so cool. It's so
cool
fucking
to
good,
see.
dude.
Especially when you see someone who doesn't know react to it, and you're like, yes, their excitement is palpable.
Yeah. That was so good, dude.
Yeah, dude,
But-
I loved that game.
Okay, so now, since you talked about your favorite consoles, I want to talk about my favorite, or not favorite consoles, but like my life of consoles.
I want to listen to this.
Okay, so, when I was a little babby, I found an old Super Nintendo box in the garage. And I was like, cool, it's a Super Nintendo. I've always wanted one of those. I did not know what the fuck a Super Nintendo was.
I didn't know what a fuck.
I didn't know what a Super Nintendo was at the time. So it's just like, I've always wanted one of those. That sounds really cool. I opened the box, nothing was inside. And so I'm like, I hate my life. And then I told my parents, like, man, I really want a Super Nintendo. Why is there a box for one in the garage? And they're like, no. Just no.
Ooh. That's harsh.
So, eventually, they were convinced to give me a Game Boy Color. So I got a Game Boy Color. And I had that Game Boy Color for fucking years of my life.
Game Boy Color, it's the portable SNES.
Yep. And the Game Boy Color was the only system that I owned for like the first 10 years of my life. And then eventually I got a Game Boy Advance when it came out, which was nice.
Oh, I got, yeah.
Oh, God damn it. This fucker is trolling.
Those are the handhelds I went through, was Color. I still own my Advanced and my SP.
Nice. I'm gonna kill myself. But yeah, so I eventually had an Advanced, and then at one point or another, a friend of mine had gotten a PS2 to replace his PlayStation 1. Or actually, before that, I had a different friend who I would go over to his house all the time, and we would play his PlayStation 1. And he had all kinds of games on there, like fucking
Totally forgot to mention my
Splinter
PlayStation 1.
Cell. Yeah. But yeah, he had all kinds of
PlayStation
awesome
1?
ones.
Damn.
Whoa.
I played
Skype, internet.
What?
The bad is happening again.
Oh, damn it. I can hear you just fine. Are you having trouble hearing me?
Yeah, you're cutting out a lot.
Damn
It's
it.
like really bad.
Well, what I was just saying is I forgot to mention I also had a PS1. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, I would still own it if I didn't lend it to a friend and then he decided not to be my friend.
Okay, but so, yeah, so I played PlayStation 1 all the time over at my friend's house, and we played, like, Splinter Cell, Medal of Honor, all of the things. All of the hypest games for PS1 at the time, pretty much. And so, then, eventually, like, we kind of split off. He had to move away, and I was just kind of like, aw, my best friend's going away. This sucks. I'm dead.
Yeah, I saw you walked right into that. I'm like, the balls on this guy.
Oh,
Oh, the balls on this guy.
the success that is being had right now. But no, so yeah, and then eventually I had a different friend who he got a PlayStation 2 to replace his PlayStation 1. And so he was like, well, I have this old PS1, but it doesn't have any cables. If you want it, you can have it. And I'm like, please, so much, please. And so he gave me his PS1, and I had to go and convince my mom to buy me various cables for it to get it up and running. But so I eventually had a PS1, and I bought a couple of used games for it, including Medal of Honor Underground.
How do you play a... Medal of Honor is like a first-person shooter, right?
Yeah.
How do you play it without analog?
I got, this was like the late PS1. Like,
Oh,
the
okay.
PS2 had already come out, so I had a DualShock controller that had the dual analogs on it.
Yeah, see, when I played Metal Gear Solid 1, when I had my PS1, which I actually still own Metal Gear Solid 1 for PS1, I did not have the analog controller, which made it hard, but fucking Metal Gear Solid 1's hard anyway, who cares?
Yeah. But so, I got my PS1 all hooked up and everything, and I got Medal of Honor Underground. And I started it up for the very first time, I played it for like not even half an hour. My dad walked into the room. He was like, "What the heck is that?" And immediately made me return it. Because it was a shooter.
God damn. I was gonna say, he just walked in and had a heart attack while screaming, "It's the devil!"
Pretty much. That is more or less what his reaction was, yes.
Wait, did we already do the modern one?
The modern one we did on our first playthrough of the level.
Oh yeah, that's the one that we did.
Yep. And Rooftop Run as well. So, next episode is going to be a short one where I'm just going to like hang out and tell stories. But until then, that's the end of this episode. If you want to hear the rest of my console story, like, comment, subscribe.
Do it.
Please don't.
Please do.